I am Harvey Hubbell, and this is Show and Tell. And I'm speaking to Tara. Tara, what's your last name?
Hi, Repke Sparks.
Rescue Sparks. You know, I love what you're doing, and I want to know how and why. You're an influencer.
I am. It's still weird to hear that, but I guess I am.
You're an influencer. What do you make on? What is that called? Instagram, YouTube. What?
Instagram.
Tell me, and who's your audience? Moms, dads, teachers, who?
Yeah, so I make content that gives parents and teachers tools to teach their kids to read. And most of my audience, we've got moms, dads, nannies, grandparents, and then a lot of teachers as well.
Oh, look at our cat. Our at cat.
That's great stuff, and it's simple. It's digestible. I was watching your content, and I said, I bet you that woman drinks coffee.
I sure do every day.
You do, man. You do. So, hey, tell me about Guatemala. I just came back from Belize. What are you doing in Guatemala?
I taught in Guatemala for 3 years. It was an amazing experience. I taught at an international school there. So we had local Guatemalan children and then also a lot of diplomats. It was an amazing experience. We taught US curriculum. It was amazing. I learned a lot there. Culturally, education is different, and working with local Guatemalans, you just learn so much. It's one of the best things I ever did. If you're a teacher thinking about teaching abroad, I highly suggest it.
I mean, I say this all the time, but I think any nation's greatest resource is their youth. And so I commend you for all the hard work you do. But I also think teachers are like ninjas. Like, you open up the door, what's there? So how did you get to be you? I mean, how did you get to be you? And I want to hear about that. I want to do the hero's journey part. This is the hero's journey part of our voyage. So you were born, and did you learn to read easy, right? Is mom and dad a teacher? How did you become you?
Yeah, I learned to read fairly easily from my understanding. My parents said I didn't have much trouble. I think, like many adults, I don't remember learning how to read, which also tells me I probably didn't have much trouble.
You're one of those. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and
No,
so
that's good. Huh?
I recognize how lucky I am to be in that position. My mom was a very avid reader and was very involved. Although we know for some kids that's still not enough. And so I call myself a weed. The kids that are the weeds, they're going to grow without us doing a whole lot. And there's a very small amount of children in that kind of bucket. And so that was me growing up. I always did pretty well in school. I always loved working with kids. I fell in love with working with kids, teaching swim lessons in high school and college. Sometimes I still think, oh, my dream job would just be to teach swim lessons all day. But that it taught me so much about how kids learn. And I went into college. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So got my degree in elementary education, got my master's in education, and I started teaching. I grew up in Albuquerque. So I taught in Albuquerque public schools for a few years before I went out to Guatemala.
You're a teacher. I got that. You're in Albuquerque. I mean, this makes sense. I mean, you could have been a doctor or a lawyer or
I almost was a lawyer.
so, but you like kids. So
Mhm.
so I can see that. But what drew you to Guatemala?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I did a student teacher exchange. I got to do some of my student teaching in Austria. I was there for about 2 months, and I just absolutely loved the traveling portion and learning about different cultures and meeting different teachers, seeing how they were doing things. And so I knew that I got the travel bug, and I knew that I wanted to continue to travel and learn more. So once I kind of got my feet under me teaching for a couple of years in the States, I went to an international job fair. And that's where this particular school in Guatemala really sought me out. And I connected with the principal. I was able to talk to some of the teachers who already worked there, and they were just so happy. And so I took the leap. I didn't know anyone there, and I did it. And it's one of the best things I ever had done.
That's beautiful. I like that. You're an outside of the box thinker kind of guy.
I am. I am.
Which brings us up to what you're doing now. But so my wife went to Austria. She loved it, and so you're right. There's a big world out there. We grow up in our areas and we expand our horizons. And you're pretty much a hipster. You did Austria, you did Guatemala. You broke the mold again, not doing the regular thing, and then you started with this really cool site. So tell me about your site and tell me how you started making the site and tell me more about that.
Yeah. So I have Teach Them to Thrive. And, when I first started the Instagram portion of things, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with it, but I knew I wanted this information to be out. I have a similar story to many teachers in the world. When I first started teaching, I taught balanced literacy. And when I learned the science of reading, how to do structured literacy, I got trained in Orton Gillingham for dyslexic learners. It just changed everything for me. And I had kind of a unique situation. The year that I was trained in Orton Gillingham, I what we call looped with my students. So I taught balanced literacy to this group of children one year and structured literacy the next. And the outcomes were insanely different. And I went, there's not enough information on this in the world. Teachers don't know about this. They don't know what to do. They just keep passing kids along and thinking that they're not good teachers. That's what I thought a lot was, I just don't know how to teach reading. I must just be a better math teacher. And so I knew I wanted the information out there. I knew that teachers were lacking. I knew that parents were lacking in this information. And so I just started talking and got on and made some videos. And eventually I had one go viral, and then it has just blossomed from there. And I love being I've created this cool online community, and I get to connect with people from all over the world.
I could see that you almost felt bad that you were one of the weeds. You were one of the ones that reading came easy to. But we appreciate you being able to decipher that because they told me all these codes when I was a kid, like A before B except after C. I mean, I have no idea what
Yeah.
You're looking at my compensating mechanism. Everybody around me. I mean, so I don't know. So I love it that it comes easy to you, and you got the gift, and you're giving the gift away, which is in fact helping out others and giving a gift to more. So the pebble in the pond, you're incredibly awesome. So okay, so now you got the calling to do this thing on the internet, and you're a good educator. I'll say you're a great educator. You can make simple stuff. If you could teach me something, then you're a good educator. I mean that's like you take complicated information and you teach it to the layman. So that's cool. So how often do you do this stuff? And when do you wake up in the middle of the night? Do you have to sleep next to have a pad of paper say I'm gonna do the C and the K thing tomorrow, ma, dad. Look, I've got to do you audition them in front of other people, or how do you know when you're good, and how do you do this stuff?
I keep a running list on my phone. I have a notes on my phone when I think of ideas. I still work with kids directly as well. So a lot of the times I'll be doing a tutoring session and I'll see, oh, you know what, this was tricky, this was hard, or I'll have a parent ask me a question at the end of a tutoring session. And that's where I get a lot of my ideas is, hey, these are the real life obstacles people are running into. How can I get that information to them to overcome those?
I love that. That is very good, very intuitive. What if it's broken, we're gonna fix it. I like that. That's pretty darn good. So
Yep.
so how long have you been doing this? I mean, you've been an educator. You've been in Guatemala. You've done some stuff. You're already putting some tracks on it. So, I mean, you just came out of the gate swinging.
I did. I mean, I've been in education for a little over 10 years now. So I'm going into my 11th year, I believe now. And I've been doing the Instagram portion of this. Let's see. I actually think it's 2 years this month. Yeah, 2 years this month. It's kind of crazy.
Well, you know that thing, that first 5 years that people say this is not for me, and then the other ones say this is for me. So how did you know? I mean, you could have been a lawyer. You could have been you know, you can come up here and teach swim in the summertime in Connecticut, up on the farm. You know, you can come hang out at the farm and make
You know,
Instagrams and teach swimming.
you know, I almost did become a lawyer. I actually, after I moved back to the States from Guatemala, I was nervous about going back into the education system here in America. It's not a good place for teachers, or for many students, in my opinion. And I went to law school for a year. My dad is an attorney. Like you said, I can think outside of the box, and I did quite well in law school, but I hated I hated what I was doing every day. I missed working directly with kids and families. And so I made the tough decision. I left law school and I went back into teaching. And it's my calling. I love working with children. I love working with families. All kids deserve to read. There's just no better gift you can give someone than the ability to read. And that's why I'm here.
Tara, you are changing people's lives. I mean, besides the pebble in the pond, you don't, you know, those people that you give the ability to read make different life decisions. You know all of this stuff, and then, but you don't know where those ripples are going to go to, and who they marry, how their lifestyle goes, how they raise their kids. It's all because of hero educators, guys like you. Um, so that's pretty crazy. So, what do you do now? Now that you're an influencer, you've been teaching, you know what you want to do. Um, uh, how often do you put your stuff up, and you're going to keep doing this, or something else is going to happen? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, for right now, I'm going to keep doing it. I enjoy it. It is a lot of work. I think people underestimate just how much work it is to make content for social media. It is not an easy feat, so it does take a great deal of my time. But like I said, right now, I enjoy it. I enjoy getting the word out, the people I get to connect with. Um, so for now, we're going to keep going with it. But will it be forever? That I do not know. And let's see, I put out about 2 to 3 videos a week right now, and that's about my max. I know a lot of people are posting every single day, but 2 to 3 is about my max right now.
That is really great. I love everything you're doing, and I want to hear more about social media in the next episode.
All right,
All
looking
right.
forward to it.
Me too. Talk to you soon.